Namaste yogis, welcome to today's practice. Now I just want to introduce this practice because today we're going to focus on arm balances. Now arm balances are my nemesis. I find them really difficult. Some days I find it in myself to be able to do a crow, and the majority of days I just can't. Now the reason I want to teach a class like this is for a number of reasons. First and foremost, it's more of an invitation to be able to accept where you're up to. It's okay if you can't fly into crow really easily. It wouldn't surprise me if a lot of the people doing this now will be able to do it much easier than myself. So it's about accepting your strengths and accepting where the body is up to, and most importantly just about having fun. So what if you fall on your face? So what if you can't do it right now? If you can't do it right now, it's never to say you're never going to be able to do it. It's more about enjoying the process and learning ways to adapt. Now the poses I'm going to do in today's practice, they are kind of cheat ways or easy ways as a stepping stone towards the full pose. It uses more of your arm muscles to be able to distribute the body weight, therefore slightly easier than some of the traditional arm balances. So what you'll need today is a number of cushions and pillows, because what I've found is, from my experience, it's more the fear factor of falling that prevents me from doing the pose. So when I know I've got cushions available in front of my face, I feel more comfortable and relaxed to easily move into the pose. You can use blocks, you can use cushions, you can roll up a duvet, whatever you have to hand. Go and grab it now and take a comfortable seat, close down the eyes, you just arrive in the present moment. Take a few cleansing breaths, deep inhale through the nose, open the mouth and let it go. Allow the whole body to settle into the earth, into this moment. Notice how the body feels. Do you feel excited or a little bit of apprehension ahead of this practice? Just notice and acknowledge and release any negativity back out into the world, relaxing the muscles with every exhale. Come to a rhythm of breath in and out through the nose. And I invite you to be mindful of your breath in today's practice. When we're moving through the poses, don't forget to breathe. Breath work is one of the biggest things that can help balance. Slowly bring yourself round into a tabletop position. Shoulders stacked over wrists, hips over knees. Spread the fingers really wide and ground down all 10 knuckles into the mat. Now notice the connection between you and the earth underneath your hands, and be mindful to keep this connection throughout the whole of the practice. Whilst we normally focus on the foundations in our feet, today our foundations are going to be in our hands. And it's the same principle where you're gripping onto the floor and engaging the arm muscles, drawing that energy upwards into the shoulders and push the shoulder blades away. By pushing the shoulder blades away, we immediately activate the core muscles. With this strong posture, start to make small rotations in a clockwise motion around the wrists. Keep the hands firmly grounded and take a few circles, going clockwise and then anti-clockwise, starting to warm the wrists. Now, at any point in this practice, if you do feel any tension in your wrist, feel free just to stop like I am now. Come to a seated position and just make small circles, rotating one way and the other. Maybe you want to do some little ripples. But take a pause, go into child's pose, whatever you need in today's practice. Acknowledge and accept where you are today, and know that every day can be different. Come back into your tabletop position, and this time plant the tops of the hands onto the mat. Spread wide through the fingertips again, and this time lean back just a little bit and notice the stretch all the way down the front of the arm. If you're like me, this might feel quite tense. It's something I don't really work with an awful lot, and I think it's because the muscles are so small. I think we forget about them a little bit. These poses will really help with your planks and your downward dogs. Slowly release the hands, sit back on the knees and take some small circular motions once again. Wrists nice and warm. Bring yourself back to a tabletop position. Take a few rounds of cat-cow, but really this time accentuate you pushing the floor away and arching through the shoulder blades. Draw the shoulders away from the ears and pause with the arched spine and breathe into this space. Tuck the tailbone under, chin towards the chest. Notice the engagement throughout the whole core, the shoulder blades. And inhale, draw the belly down to the floor, just take a counter pose. Take some hip movements, some twists if it feels comfortable, loosening up the lower back. Come to a neutral spine. Bring the hands just a little bit forward, maybe about half an inch. Tuck the tailbone under and push the floor away once again, arching through the shoulder blades. Draw the elbows close to the chest so the creases are facing forward. Take an inhale to prepare. An exhale without hinging at the hips. Come down to a halfway chaturanga. Inhale, push up. Push back into child's pose. Notice how that felt, doing a small push-up very slowly. Inhale to come back up. Prepare once again. Push the shoulders away, arch through the spine. Without hinging at the hips, keep the elbows close to the body. Inhale to prepare and exhale into a push-up. Inhale to come back up. Do this 3 more times. Exhale to lower. Inhale back up. Exhale to lower. Inhale back up. 1 more time. Exhale to lower. Inhale back up. Push back into child's pose. Reach through the fingertips. Notice how the arm feels. Breathe into this space. Slowly draw yourself back up to a tabletop position. Tuck the toes and push back into a down facing dog. Bend the knees as much as you need. Keep the firm grounding in your hands. Spread the fingers wide. Push all 10 knuckles into the floor. Take a cleansing breath. And on your next exhale, draw the right knee to the right elbow. Hover here. Take a breath. Exhale, lower it down to hover just behind the right wrist. Don't touch the knee to the floor. Bring it across to the left wrist. Inhale to bring it back up to the left elbow. Exhale, plank pose. Inhale to lift the right leg up straight. Push through the heel. Exhale, release. 2 more times. Inhale to lift. Exhale to release. Inhale to lift. This time, bring the right knee to the outside of the elbow and plant the foot on the outside of the right hand. Come into your lizard pose. Push through the heel of the left leg. Notice the stretch in the hip flexors. Feel free to lower the knee if it's more comfortable and push the knee out, opening the lower back and the hips. Allow yourself to gather your breath, recommit to your practice. Ground down through the hands and push back into a plank pose. Option to take a vinyasa here or push back into child's pose for 1 breath and meet us back down in downward dog. Now this time we'll move again with the right leg. There's an option here for an arm balance. So I'd like you to close down the eyes just for a moment whilst you're in your downward dog. And repeat to yourself, I'm just having fun. I am having fun. I accept where my body is at. And I am just having fun. Now bring the right knee towards the right elbow, Option to stay here if this is enough. And at any point you can come back to a downward dog or a child's pose. If you would like to transition into the full arm balance, bring the right knee to the right elbow, bend the left elbow so it kind of rests on the left hip, and start to swing the weight forward so the left leg comes up off the floor. So you may want to rest here and just take gentle sways, slowly lifting the left foot off. Once you feel like you've got your balance, why not experiment with straightening the right leg? Don't forget to breathe, and when you're ready, bring the right foot back and push up into a cobra. Exhale, child's pose. Roll yourself up, take a quick few circles with the wrists. Maybe some little waves. Take a cleansing breath. And we'll go on the other side. Ground down the hands. Push up into a downward dog. Left knee to left elbow. Lower down to the left wrist. Across the body to the right wrist. Inhale up to the right elbow and exhale back to plank. Inhale, lift the left leg straight, push through the heel. Exhale, ground down. Spread the fingers wide, inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift. This time bring the left knee to the outside of the left elbow. Plant the foot onto the floor. Lizard lunge. Recommit to your practice. Focus the awareness on the breath. If it's easier, feel free to lower the right knee down. Maybe take a twist in your lizard lunge. Ground down through both the hands. Push the left foot back. Option to take a vinyasa or rest in child's pose. Meet back in downward facing dog. Close down the eyes and repeat to yourself, I'm just having fun. I accept where my body is at today. Just have a little bit of fun. Slowly draw the left knee to the left elbow. Bend through the right elbow and rest it on the hip. Take some gentle sways to lift up the right leg. Notice one side may feel different to the other, and if you want to try and straighten the left leg, feel free to do so. Engage the core and slowly release the legs up into a high cobra. Exhale, push back, child's pose. Take a few cleansing breaths and slowly roll yourself up to a seated position. Close down the eyes and recommit to your practice. Recommit to the breath. And allow a smile to wash over your face. Enjoying the process. Enjoying the challenge. And letting go of expectation. Allowing the body to move fluidly. Having a little bit of fun. Roll off the hips. Once again, with the hips. Shake off the wrists. Shake off. I don't know why that's tickled me so much. Oh dear. And come back to a downward dog. Bend through the knees, take the gaze in between the hands and jump forward and come to a seated position on your bum. Take a hold of the thighs just behind the knees. Draw the shoulders away from the ears and slowly rock back into a boat pose. Engage the core. Allow the arms to stretch out long. Breathe here for 5 deep breaths. Two more. One more, and on your exhale, lower the chest down, lower the feet to hover. Draw the shoulders away from the ears. Really engage this abdomen. 2 more deep breaths. Hold it, you've got this. And exhale, release. Take a cleansing breath, notice how the body feels. Step the knees on top of the hips and reach the hands up above the head. So the wrists are still in line with the shoulders. This time the fingers are spread wide as if you're grabbing hold of the floor. Really engage those arms and push up into the air. Once you're comfortable here, draw the knees towards the arms. Try and get your knees as close to the shoulders as you can. Toes to touch and push here. Push up with the hands, squeeze in with the knees, notice the abdomen engage. Exhale to release, hug your knees into your chest and shake from side to side. We'll go with that movement one more time and become aware of the sensations that are happening in the body. the engagement of the arms, the engagement of the belly, the movement of the hips. Reach the hands up overhead, wrists stacked over shoulders. Spread the fingers wide as if you're grabbing hold of the floor. Push up with the hands, push up with the palms, leading with the wrists. Draw the knees into the body, as close to the shoulders as you can. Push up with the hands, squeeze in with the knees. Notice the engagement and don't forget to breathe. 2 more breaths. Squeeze everything engaged. And release. Hug the knees into the chest. Cross the feet and slowly rock up. Plant the hands and step back into a plank. Option to move through a vinyasa or rest in the child's pose. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. If you're in a child's pose, meet us back in downward dog now. Inhale to move forward into plank. Exhale, lower the knees, bring the elbows close to the chest, 3 push-ups. Exhale to lower, inhale to rise. Exhale, lower, engage the abdomen, inhale to rise. Exhale, lower, inhale, rise. Push back, child's pose. Push into the hands, tuck the toes, send the hips back to the sky. Bend the knees generously, step, hop or float to the front of the mat into a yogic squat. Both feet on the outside of the hands, hips down to the floor. Use the elbows to push open the knees, bring the hands into heart center. No worries if the soles of the feet don't touch the floor and your heels are up like so. Feel free to roll up the mat or place a block underneath the heels to help you stabilise. And before we do our peak pose for today's practice, repeat that mantra to yourself. I accept where I am today. It's all about having fun. I accept where I am today. It's all about having fun. Release the hands down and stretch the legs up. Come into a forward fold. Take some sways from side to side to loosen the hips if you need to. Now bring the toes to touch. And draw the knees into the shoulder pits. So envision now we're doing the same pose as we did when we was lying down, hands to the floor, this time knees are into the shoulders. Spread the fingers wide, really ground down through the hands. And this before we move, before we lift our feet, just rock backwards and forth on the wrist, like we were doing at the beginning of the practice. Just notice the transition of weight, notice how it feels. Keep the gaze forward towards the front of the mat. Come down and rest. Feel free to take a seat for a moment, shake off the wrist. Now whatever props you've got, feel free to set them up in front of your face. If you've got some cushions, got some blocks, prop them up in front of you as a sense of encouragement. Now bring yourself back up, toes to touch, hands in front of the feet, about shoulder distance apart. Spread the fingers wide, grip onto the floor, bend the knees and start to rock forward. Know that the cushions are there. Look right into the cushions. Push the floor away and start to lift one foot, place it down. Then the next foot, place it down. Notice the engagement in the lower abdomen. and rest for a moment. If crow is in your practice, feel free to fly, but accept where the body's at and let go of fear, just have a little bit of fun. When you're ready, for the last time, grip the hands into the floor, knees into the armpits, and slowly rock yourself forward and fly. If you want to try it without the props, feel free to do so. Get ready to fly. Lead with the heart, gaze forward, not down. And when you're ready, bring the knees down and stretch out into child's pose. Push yourself up into a tabletop position. Lower the hips down to the floor. Bring the elbows underneath the shoulders and just swing your hips from side to side. Stretch out the belly muscles, the lower abdomen, and be proud of where you've got to today. Honour the body and honour yourself for having a little bit of fun. Slowly lower the chest down, bring the hands underneath the shoulders and push back into child's pose. Walk the hands over to the right hand side and stretch through the left side body. Bring yourself back into centre, this time taking the hands over to the left. Ground down with the shoulders and stretch to the right side body. Deep belly breaths. Bring yourself back to centre and slowly roll yourself up to a seated position. Roll down the shoulders and bring the right arm across the body. Stretch through the fingertips. And release. Bring the left arm across the body, pulling it slightly with the right. Bring the hands down to the floor and the palms to face upwards, thumbs into the centre. Allow the hands to ground down. Notice the stretch all along the wrists. Feel free to take gentle sways from side to side if it feels nice. Place the tops of the palms onto the mat and rock forward just ever so slightly to counteract the pose. Release the hands. Take some last wrist wiggles, one way and the other. Bring the left hand onto the heart centre and the right hand over top. Take a moment of gratitude for yourself for arriving on the mat today and powering through this challenging practice. Accepting your strength, accepting where the body is at, and honouring how the body can flow. I bow to the strength that radiates from you. Continue to have fun. Namaste.